Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rob. This is Big Rob's Van, and this is Big Rob's Van's new solar panel. This is an AllPowers 200-watt solar panel. I bought it about 6 months ago. It's been in the workshop. I already have an AllPowers 200-watt solar panel on the roof of the van, and I want to put a second one up there before I leave on a road trip tomorrow. Every fun project starts with a ladder, and I'm dragging this thing out, but before I start climbing the ladder, and by the way, I'll climb the ladder a lot in this episode, I'm going to show you a little trick that I use. I keep these little cardboard boxes around, and whenever I'm going to do a project up on the roof of the van, I throw everything I need into the box. Not that cup. These scissors are probably going to be useful. This is some degreaser / cleaner I'm going to use to clean the metal on the top of the van so that everything will stick to it. Aha, dirty rags on the right, clean rags on the left. Gonna need one of those. Into the box it goes. This is a marker I'm going to use to mark where I want to put the solar panel. This drawer is called Things That Stick to Things. Here's the old butyl tape I had from the first solar panel I installed. I'm going to use this to build up layers in between the ridges on the roof of the van. And here's some more of that flex tape, the flex tape that I used the first time to hold down my first solar panel. I used that in combination with 3M VHB. Here is some tape. I don't know what this is, and by the way, I didn't end up using it. Also, you think I would notice the alien in that drawer, but I didn't notice it until just now. Back up on the ladder. Before I get started, I want to take a look and see how the first solar panel is doing. This panel is held on again with 3M VHB and also a layer of flex tape. The tape seems to be holding up pretty well. This solar panel has been up here for over a year now with this tape, and as you can see, it hasn't peeled up at all. Now, recently we had a hailstorm. I thought I heard something crack when I was in the van, and sure enough, as you can see, there is a crack on top of my MaxxAir fan. So while I'm doing this project, I'm going to put some tape on that as well. Now, this is a tool I bought to disconnect the solar panel cables. I think these are MC4 cables. I've never actually tried this tool. I think I got a 5-pack of them for like $10 on Amazon. And if you line this thing up just right, the two connections of the solar panel cable will pop right apart. So, hey, I'm going to have to give this tool a thumbs up. It worked great. Now, as you can see, there is a male and a female when it comes to these solar panel cables, so you cannot hook them up backward. By the way, the last thing I threw in that box was my cell phone, because you don't want to get stuck on top of a roof of a vehicle and then have the ladder fall over and not have a way to get down or call anybody. So the first step is to put the solar panel up here and figure out exactly where I want it. Because I'm mounting it with that flex tape, I want the tape to be sticking to metal, not other tape. So I'm scooting it just a little bit away from the first panel. Now, the 3M VHB, that stands for Very High Bond. That's the tape I'm going to put on the bottom of this panel. And when you stick that stuff, it is pretty much permanent. I mean, I think you can get it off with a heat gun or something, but I'm telling you, once it sticks down, you are not going to be able to easily pull it up and move things around. I found that out the hard way last time, and so I have a plan this time. We're going to find out if it works. My plan is to use some duct tape to use almost as a hinge. I'm going to put the panel exactly where I want it, and then I'm going to lay down strips of duct tape on the back side of the panel, flip the panel over like a hinge, and then be able to apply everything. And then when I flip it back over, I should be able to do this all by myself without help from anyone. But also, what the duct tape is going to do is hold it in place while I'm doing some of the other things like tracing with the Sharpie, so I'll know exactly where it's going to go, because I'm going to have to build up some, I think it's the Perma-Bond stuff to fill up the gaps in between the ridges on the roof of the fan. There's me on the other side of the van. There's a pretty specific place where the panel needs to go so that there's enough raised metal ridges on each side for it to be taped down to. So that's exactly where I'm putting it. And once it's all lined up, I'm just going to use that yellow duct tape, like I said, and hopefully I can use that tape. Hopefully it'll work as a hinge, and then I can flip the panel upside down. We're going to see if that works. By the way, there's nothing easier than standing on top of a ladder and ripping off pieces of duct tape in the wind. Super fun and easy. I recommend everybody try it. Here I come, and I'm moving this ladder again and again, and I like to carry it around. One of these days, I'm going to make a supercut of just all the times I climbed up the ladder in this video. Let's line up the panel where I want it, hold everything in place, and put down one more long strip of duct tape to work as a hinge. Now, this is a moment of truth to see if I can actually get on the roof of the van. I've never actually been on the roof of my van before. I installed the MaxxAir fan and the first solar panel only by standing on the ladder. And so I was a little afraid, not that the roof wouldn't hold me, more I was afraid that the ladder would flip over as I was trying to transition onto the roof. Now let's draw that line with the Sharpie so I'll know exactly where the solar panel is going to go. Again, as I already mentioned, that's where I'm going to need to put that Perma-Bond to build up those little ridges there. Now let's move that box out of the way and see if my yellow hinge duct tape theory actually works. Well, hey, there it goes. I'm sure that's good on the old solar panels. Probably shouldn't do that, actually. Next step, I'm going to use this cleaner to clean everywhere I'm about to stick tape down on the roof of the van. As you can see, the roof of my van is pretty disgusting. I don't take it through those automated car washes anymore because I have a solar panel up there being held on by tape. And so I'm a little afraid as to what might happen. So I should probably get up on the ladder a little more often and get up here and clean things off. But this is just some all-purpose cleaner. I probably got it from Dollar General or something like that. But it's doing a pretty good job. You want to get all the dirt and grime everywhere you're going to put that tape, because you really want to get a good clean surface so that the tape doesn't come up and you don't send a $200 solar panel launching into the car behind you while you're driving down the interstate. For what it's worth, I found it to get down the ladder much easier than it was to transition from the ladder to the roof. Whenever you go down, you just kind of step over on the ladder and you can hang on to the side of the van, and that's real easy. So going down wasn't nearly as scary as transitioning from the ladder to the van. Now for the next part of the project, which is putting down this butyl tape is what it is. And so what I'm doing is cutting 3 strips for every single ridge. I probably could have put 4 in there, but 3 seemed like it was enough. I'm cutting them about the width of the little ridges. I mean, it's not really rocket science. You cut 3, stick them down in there. If it doesn't look like it's enough or you press it down too much, I'll put 4. It's like, it's almost like silly putty that comes in a strip, except for it's really, really sticky. So, you know, there's really what I'm trying to do is keep the wind from blowing up underneath the solar panel, because in my head, that would be an easy way to launch this thing right off the top of the van. So there's going to be multiple layers of protection by the time I'm done, but this is just one. So like I said, I just want a even surface for the solar panel to stick to the top of the van. So again, you can see I cut 3 strips for each one of the ridges. I don't remember how many ridges there were across, 6, 7, 8, something like that. I cut a lot of pieces of this stuff. And by the way, when I started this project, it was a little overcast. It was barely 80 degrees. And by the time I got up here, it was no longer overcast. Now it's 90 degrees, and now we have Big Rob on a hot tin roof. With all the butyl tape in place, now it's time to apply the 3M VHB. By the way, I'm not really laying on the panel as much as it looks like here. I'm gonna need about 18 to 20 feet of this tape. I wasn't sure how much was on this roll, and as you can see, what's on the roll is about 3 foot. I just ran out, and maybe longer than 3 foot, but not much longer, maybe 4 foot or whatever, but I need enough to go all the way around the panel, and I put a strip all the way across the middle as well. And yep, that's the end of that, and well, you know what that means. Oh, what a fun scenic drive. Fortunately, Home Depot is about 8 miles from my house. I know where this is. This is the Scotch brand, but it's the same as the 3M now. This is the updated version. Adios, Home Depot. And here we are back at the house. Nothing like a good half-hour break in the middle of a project. Sometimes when working on a project out in the heat, I like to take a half-hour break to make sure the van gets even hotter. So now the roof is actually burning me to get up here. It's really not a great idea. You can do it. Oh, look at that. It's like a superhero. This is a shot of me putting down all the 3M VHB tape on the solar panel. So if you're doing this, that's what you'll want to do. And also, if you're running a YouTube channel, one thing you'll want to do is make sure that your GoPro camera is facing the right way and not pointed up at the sky so that you miss a critical shot in a video you're trying to put together. So this is the real moment of truth with my little duct tape hinge idea. This tape is pretty permanent. Boom, exactly where I want it to be. So now I'm just gonna have to go around all the edges, press it down, make sure it's really stuck good to the roof of the van. But I can tell you, on the previous panel, I used this tape. I stuck my panel down slightly off center where I wanted it, and I could not peel it back up. That stuff sticks so good. Again, this is only one layer of two that we're using, but I mean, if the wind didn't get up underneath it, I would say this would probably hold it, but I don't trust the wind, so that's why I'm doing the second layer of the Perma-Bond tape as well. No, flex tape. God, I'm getting all the... Don't follow this. This is a terrible tutorial. Now, before I get too much further and permanently attach this thing to the roof of the van, I'm going to quickly connect the wires and run down to my AllPowers and see what I'm getting. So, as you can see right here, I'm now putting in 195 watts in. I've got about 45 going out to that set power refrigerator. The most I've ever got from one panel is 135. So when I saw that 195, I knew that it was working. And by the way, I got a much higher reading while I was on the road. I'll show that to you at the end. You will not believe how much solar I got out of two 200-watt solar panels. So now it's time to get back up on the roof. There's my box of stuff. Also, here's my battery-powered fan, the F11 from Odry that I just reviewed, and I put this up there. I turned it on. I had it swiveling. I wasn't sure if it would actually make things better, but it actually did. Having a little breeze in my face while I was working on the solar panel actually made it quite a bit nicer while I was laying up on the roof. Now, this Perma-Bond tape is pretty easy to deal with. Like any super sticky tape, what you want to do is just get a little bit of it started going, and then, line it up the way that you want and peel a little bit more of the backing underneath. Like pull it out from underneath where it's going to be stuck, and then just keep doing it. I'm being very careful not to put it on the actual part where the cells of the solar panel are. I'm only doing it around the very edges where it's intended to be mounted. I'll just pull the bottom out and apply it and make sure it's really, really tight, so there's no bubbles or anything like that. The first time I did this, I had a lot of wrinkles. I don't know why I didn't do it very well. It didn't seem like it'd be hard to do. Somehow I screwed it up. So this one I got really smooth. I'm much happier with the second one. By the time I add an 8th or 9th solar panel, I'll be really good at this. Again, I'm just kind of working my way all the way across the front here. And then when I'm done with that, I started going down the sides. It was much easier on the sides just to do it from the ladder, and so that's what I ended up doing. When I get to the edge down here, I'll use those scissors. Remember the scissors I put in that box? They've really come in handy, and just trim it right down the edge, get a nice straight cut that kind of lines up with the edge of the van. My goal, again, as you know, if you watch my other videos, I do a lot of stealth camping, and so my goal is from the ground, you will not be able to see these solar panels. They are so flat and snug on the roof of the van that they don't stick up at all. So That's not to say if you were in a, up higher in a taller vehicle than mine, you would obviously see them. If you're on the second floor of a building, you would obviously see them. So, I mean, it's not James Bond stuff here, but the idea is that the average person walking by the van or driving by in a traditional car would not see the solar panels. The last thing I wanted to do here is a little bit of cable management. Now, I honestly don't know how long this is going to hold up. This is just regular old white duct tape. And what I'm doing is just trying to pair the cables together so that they don't start beating around when I'm driving down the interstate. So I'm just going to kind of, like you would do with a zip tie. I probably should have done it with zip ties, but I had duct tape in the box up here and no zip ties. But I'm just kind of pairing them together all the way down here, and then I'm using some more duct tape to hold it to the roof of the van. Again, I'm leaving on a road trip tomorrow, and so I'm doing this wiring part right here kind of in a hurry, but I think it'll hold up for the road trip. We'll see how long it holds up. Ultimately, what I want to do is buy one of those. I think it's called a gland. I'm not sure, but I think I could put on the top of my van to run the cables down through a hole. That would be ideal, but right now I run the cables down through, through the insulation on the back door, and I cover that in white duct tape as well. So again, if you're walking past the back of the van, you would never, ever notice it. Nobody has ever noticed it. I mean, nobody's ever noticed it and told me about it, I suppose. But yeah, so this is the final step. I'm just kind of, again, trying to put these together in pairs, and then in between there, I'm going to hold it down to the metal. And we'll see how this duct tape holds up on the road. I'm leaving on a road trip tomorrow. I'll be driving 1,000 miles across the country, and then I'll be there for a week, and then driving 1,000 miles back. So whatever duct tape's left, I'll take with me. If it doesn't hold up, I'll make some adjustments along the way. The last thing I need to do is put some tape over this crack that has formed in the MaxxAir fan. Now, I wanted to use some of that Perma-Bond tape, but I used it all on the solar panel, and I don't have any left right now. So it's going to have to be duct tape for the time being. We'll see how it holds up. Again, it's white on white, so it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't really stand out like it could. So hopefully that'll hold this thing together. I spent a lot of money on this fan, and I'm sure getting hit by a piece of hail is not covered under the warranty. So for now, the tape's going to have to hold up. Now, the last thing I did here as part of the install was to pull up the old garden hose and kind of rinse off all the extra stuff that was on here. I didn't want any of that degreaser left on the paint. I didn't want anything, I just wanted to clean it off. Now, I'm going to tell you in retrospect, I probably wouldn't have done this. I would probably let the tape seal for a while before I got it wet. So I'm second guessing this part. I probably should have cleaned it the next day, but the roof was just so gross that I wanted to clean it off before I put the ladder away and was done with the project. Hello, friends. This is Future Rob. We have arrived at our destination. We drove 1,000 miles and we are now in West Virginia. I am living the dream that all of you want me to be living. I am living in a van down by the river, and check out this view straight out the back of the van. That's going to be a tough one to beat. So the solar panel did hold up for 1,000 miles. I will tell you there was one scary moment. About an hour into the trip, we heard some flapping up on top of the roof. Yeah, that's definitely coming from the roof. And we pulled over and found that part of the front tape had not stuck down, and I guarantee you it's because I used that garden hose before I let everything set. That was a dumb idea, and so there was actually water like under just that little edge, and so we used a paper towel there at the gas station and stuck the tape back down, and then we used a little bit of duct tape just to kind of be like a airflow over, so the air would flow over the top of it. And that was, I mean, in the first hour, and then it held up Over the next 2 days, we did 1,000 miles and didn't have any other problems. I've already checked it since I've been here as well, and everything looks great. So, hey, thanks for watching this video about installing a solar panel. In a future video, I'll talk a little bit more about why I went with wiring them in series instead of parallel. It's two different ways to do it. You get two different outcomes, and there's a very specific reason I did it this way. So I'll talk about that in an upcoming video, but for right now, I'm gonna go check out that river. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.